ดร.วิจารณ์สีมาฉายานะคะ Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment สุพัฒนพงศ์คุณนะคะ my ลูกศิษย์ก้นกุฏินะคะ but it's a pleasure to see this gentleman has grown into a remarkable valuable asset of the country, and he now is the Chief Executive Officer of the PTTGC and also the Chairman of the Organizing Committee of this important symposium, Supatamathong. Ladies and gentlemen, resource revolution, circularity is a potent weapon in the arsenal. And this is the title of my talk today. We are standing before the biggest opportunity in a century. Just as during prior revolutions, this is a time of extraordinary wealth creation as dominant new positions and new business models are established. But this is also a time of creative destruction as companies that can't compete struggle to survive. The integration of about 2.5 billion more people into the urban middle class represents a historic economic and social opportunity. However, building the cities to house these 2.5 billions, constructing homes, transportation, to connect home and work, and providing the energy, water, and food to support a middle-class lifestyle in the next 2 decades also represent one of the greatest economic and operational challenges. However, in harnessing such an extraordinary opportunity, the first thing we must all realize is that we all need to undergo a disruptive attitude change in doing business. Industry must look at technology as a norm, making digitization a common tool, accepting circularity as a must foundation in production and consumption, and a host of other innovative ideas to get more with less, and also to get more with more. That is to say, the more use an item is used, the more value it renders. As in the case of multiple uses of plastic, which has been expounded previously by the last 2 speakers. In short, resource revolution is actually about providing far more capability to create prosperity at sharply lower cost. To drive this next great industrial shift, let me share with you a framework of principles required of companies and organizations to win the resource revolution. The first principle is a collection of winning characteristics. A company should have a clear pathway to lower cost, a backward compatibility, and an ability to deliver at scale. Then second, each company should have building blocks, which may include interchangeable parts, systems integration, networks effects, and ease of scaling. The third principle involves organizing concepts, such as standard operating system, we all know that, resource productivity metrics, including committed champions. And the fourth addresses sources of productivity, which includes substitution, waste reduction, we all know that, optimization, visualization, and most recently, circularity, which is part of this great framework of the resource revolution that we are undergoing. These latter practices should be the first areas a company looks at when thinking through how to win the resource revolution. Let me walk you through each of these sources of productivity. Firstly is substitution. We all know that. We try to substitute things, parts with more high-performing, less expensive, less scarce materials, that might work as substitutes that can deliver superior overall performance. But don't forget some of the out-of-the-way substitute. If you know your Velcro zip, the quack, when you pull your sports shoes, the Velcro zip, those substituted metal zips. The inventor was a Swiss engineer. Notice the effective gripping capability of grass burrs when he was trying to take them off from his dog when they went for a walk in the fields. Then there is IPPO. IPPO is a German company which developed paint that rejects dirt, inspired by the structure of the lotus flower. Other examples include eggs made from peas, sorghum, beans, etc. Then there's waste reduction that we all know. There is a Japanese principle called the Kaizen, made famous by Toyota. And this principle literally says to drain the swamp so that the rocks appear. And this is really to actually lay bare the production chain, showing every step that consumes materials, energy, and water, and then try to understand all the waste factors in between, idle machines, scraps, and then try to kill them, these waste factors. Waste reduction is best achieved starting from the design stage. We all know that. There is an Israeli company, Kaima, which designs grains that can grow in arid land, in unfertile land, therefore requiring less water, less land, and less energy, saving fertile land for better and higher yield plants. Optimization is almost a cliche these days. A company must look at what are expensive assets that are not fully used or equipment in good condition not performing a function. This could be construction equipment or shipping containers going backwards empty, or simply planes circling the airport waiting for congestion to clear. There are efficiency everywhere waiting to be resolved, and the circular economy is at hand. It also lends itself to IT solutions that optimize routing, timing, loading, and sharing. The next source of productivity is visualization. This is to look at resources as a service and to move activities out of the physical world into the virtual world. This is a more recent concept, but it has taken up and is caught on like a house on fire. We're all ease, everything else today. Then is the circularity. It's circularity which we really think is a wonderful weapon. It's a wonderful tool. This is the last in my 4 or 5 principles. Circularity is now more commonly known as circular economy. This is a potent weapon in the prosperity arsenal which I mentioned earlier, and a timely theme for this symposium. So let's dwell a little on the topic. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last 40 years, annual extraction of materials has more than tripled. As the population grows and more consumers enter the middle class, the total demand for resources is expected to reach 130 billion tons by 2050, up from 50 billion in 2014. This is a real overuse of the Earth's total capacity by about 400%. Our current linear economic model is reaching tipping point. In order to reach the UN vision of 2050, in which no waste exists, co-efficiency of materials must improve by a factor of 10. And I think circular economy is a near-hand solution. The goal of a circular economy is simple: to halt overconsumption so that we can still afford to be prosperous in the future. The key idea is to detach growing prosperity from the overexploitation of virgin natural resources. We are used to living in a simple one single-use economy where goods are manufactured from raw materials, sold in the largest quantity possible, and eventually disposed. This model no longer works. Since natural resources in our Mother Earth are finite. In the circular economy, products are shared, with services being purchased rather than goods. Materials are reused several times over, and products are designed to be long-lasting. With this concept, based on the 5 R's or the 6 or the multi-R's principles that we all know, return, repair, refurbish, redesign, and reuse, minimum waste will be created. You know, in many public discussions, the circular economy is about recycling and reuse, but that's just the beginning. Life of a product in a circular economy starts from the design stage to production process to customer use. And the whole manufacturing chain must be lean, green, clean, easily recyclable, and durable. Such products and products produced in these ways are suitable for sharing. The goal of a circular economy is simple. There really is not much uniqueness about circular economy activities, really. They were practiced in pre-modern time because they made financial sense. Products were shared and reused many times as a matter of course. It just wasn't known as circular economy. Today, these practices are combined with digital platforms to enable more and more sharing. Do you know that there are about 300,000 items in an average American home? And it will not be surprising if an enormous amount of waste follows. A typical American car spends only 4% of the time on the road, 96% parked. An American road reaches peak throughputs only 5% of the time, and only 86% of fuel in a car never reaches the wheel. 86% of the fuel in a car never reaches the wheel. What a waste. To fix these wastes and inefficiencies, the business model has to change. From owning to renting, from being idle to being shared. This creates an enormous savings of materials, time, cost, etc. Manufacturers can actually look into their stocks of raw materials, parts, and equipment. They will be shocked at the quantity of unused raw materials, idle units, and parts. Could these be rented? Could these be shared? And listen to this. 1/3 of food in this world goes wasted while millions go hungry. 8 million in the UK go hungry every year. The global wasted food takes an equivalent of 1 China to produce. Therefore, think of the amount of methane that is emitted when this food rots. There goes the 2 degrees Celsius temperature rise of the world, or forget about the 1.5 degrees Celsius from the Paris Agreement. I think the time has come for the world, and specifically countries like ours, like Thailand, to create ambitious circular economy markets, which encourages investment and create new solutions. We must aspire to having a roadmap, an action plan to enable the country to reap the prosperity from circular economy. Finland announced the world's first circular economy roadmap in September 2016, quite recent. 9 other EU countries have drawn up similar action plans. If we start today, we're not too far behind. If we seriously start to draw up a circular economy roadmap today, we will be able to create prosperity and well-being for our people, with less resources exploited, less waste, and a hope of keeping our world livable. I was recently at a World Circular Economy Forum in Helsinki, and I was pleased to learn that the circular economy concept is being widely taught in schools to instill the understanding and an appreciation of this wonderful tool in the ongoing resource revolution. I want to challenge teachers to teach the circular economy to children in every grade, every school, so that our people, irrespective of their sector, understand how to realize the circular economy, whereby ensuring prosperity in the future. But then there remain many challenges and barriers. The list is long. First and foremost, it's political will. Political will and political will. Thank you. I would want to laugh at that too. The political will to reduce the barriers that require legislation to legalize many activities. Then there is collaboration among parties along the supply chain, which is vital, because a circular economy cannot be successful in isolation. Funding is a must, while the right pricing of recycled material is necessary, since in a circular economy, primary material will decrease and second-hand material will increase. I truly believe that a key challenge in accelerating a more comprehensive circular economy lies in creating economic incentives to drive the use of recycled materials. And finally, I think a subject that will be most discussed in the symposium is plastic waste. And here I want to end with a note of caution to a misconception that recycled plastics are not suitable for food packaging. But the fact is, when plastic wastes undergo chemical processes, new products are produced and can be suitable for new uses, even for food. We must be open-minded and less biased about plastics to move forward. And the urgency is to act now, ladies and gentlemen. What is stopping us from going forward with the circular economy? Just do it. Thank you.